How's it going, everyone? We are coming up on the month of June, and man, a loaded month for new PlayStation 5 titles. A lot of big, exciting games will be dropping next month, and on top of that, a lot of smaller games as well, but all eyes are definitely on a select few games, but the month is being rounded out by a wide variety of titles, and that's why we've got 20 new PlayStation 5 games to go over in this video. So without any more waiting, let's just get right into it, and really, do we have to waste any time? Let's get right into the big heavy hitters. PlayStation 5 exclusive, long-awaited Final Fantasy XVI will be dropping on June 22nd. When the PlayStation 5 was initially revealed, I think Final Fantasy XVI was a game that immediately so many people were automatically excited for. And yes, Final Fantasy has been a little bit inconsistent. I think everybody, at least most people, enjoyed the Final Fantasy VII Remake, but as far as the latest numbered entry, you go back to Final Fantasy 15. Very mixed reception there with the tumultuous development cycle. Final Fantasy 13, the linearity of those games killed it for a lot of people, and even going back to Final Fantasy 12, like, I feel like Final Fantasy 12, nowadays you look back at it with fond memories, but when that game initially came out, a lot of people were not down with that battle system. But at the same time, that was all the way back in 2006. I feel like the last Final Fantasy game that really had unanimous praise was Final Fantasy X, and it looks like Final Fantasy XVI can change that perspective a little bit and change that narrative, because this is a game that it hasn't had any tumultuous development period. It was revealed back in 2020. It's coming out 3 years later. For a Final Fantasy title, really smooth development cycle there as far as a turnaround from reveal to ultimately it being released. You have an incredibly talented team working on the title, and on top of that, based on the gameplay we've seen thus far, this looks to be a stellar, visually stunning, action-oriented RPG. Yes, it is going to be a fast-paced action RPG, not a turn-based system, but I do expect it to still have a plethora of content, a lot to do, a mature, engaging story in there as well. FF16 for myself, obviously a game that I've been looking forward to for a very long time. It'll finally be released June 22nd. Next up, another major game, another major long-awaited title. While not an exclusive, Diablo IV is at the top of the list for many of you guys. If you want a game that's going to have a sizable amount of content, this is going to be exactly that. A lot of you guys got an opportunity to play the game during the beta periods, and the game, of course, is noted to be the ultimate action RPG experience with endless evil to slaughter, countless abilities to master nightmarish dungeons and legendary loot. Embark on the campaign solo or with friends through beautifully dark settings, or explore a shared world where players can meet in town to trade, team up to battle world bosses, or descend into PvP zones to test their skills against other players. Create and customize your character to battle onward against the unspeakable horrors that blight this land. Choose from any one of 5 classes, discover and experiment with a vast array of powerful equipment, and carefully select your talents and abilities to become steadfast in the face of darkness, but choose wisely. Your world depends on it. Do keep in mind, Diablo is going to be a game that gets consistently updated. Probably an expansion will be released at some point. It's a game that you'll probably be invested into for a very long time, so clear up some weekends. Even come launch day, it's going to have a sizable amount of content, a lot of replayability, and a lot of content, and this is going to be a game that easily is going to be well worth your $70. A hefty price tag to pay, but given the amount of content that will be coming with Diablo 4, I think it's a pretty respectable asking price, all things considered. Next up, another entry in a major, long-running franchise, Street Fighter VI. I know a lot of you guys might not be super into fighting games, but when you're talking about Street Fighter, it's one of the most iconic franchises in gaming history, and here comes Capcom's newest challenger. Street Fighter VI launches worldwide on June the 2nd and represents the next evolution of the Street Fighter series. Street Fighter VI spans 3 distinct game modes, including World Tour, Fighting Ground, and Battle Hub. Looks like the single-player component will have some depth to it, so if you're more into that style of content, that's going to offer you something to do as well. Diverse roster of 18 fighters. You've got fan favorites like Ryu, Chun-Li, Luke, Jamie, Kimberly, and more in this latest edition, with each character featuring striking new redesigns and exhilarating cinematic specials. At this point, you probably know whether or not you like Street Fighter, but it's a franchise that so many are super invested into. At this point, I don't get super into, you know, competitive fighting games, but I can play them for fun, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do with Street Fighter 6 when it does drop on June 2nd. So I would say that those 3 games are gonna have the majority of attention in June. However, there's a ton of other games that you should have on your radar. First of all, we have Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, a cult classic. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, the classic puzzle-solving mystery adventure directed by Ace Attorney creator Shu Takumi, is back. This long-awaited HD remaster features upgraded visuals and sound and new gallery content coming from Capcom, who have been killing it from a gaming standpoint. Bang, a single bullet rings out in the Dark City, but as one life ends, the story is just getting started. You wake up as a ghost and realize that you've lost your memory along with your life. Who am I? Who killed me? And why? With only a few hours until sunrise and oblivion to uncover these answers, you must solve the mystery of your own murder, starting with the detective who may have witnessed the crime. The long-awaited HD remaster of Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, the classic mystery puzzle game by the creator of Ace Attorney, features upgraded visuals and sound. Enjoy new music arrangements by celebrated great Ace Attorney composer Yasumasa Kitagawa, which are fully synchronized with the original music, so you can switch between them at any time during gameplay. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective will be out on June 30th. Next up, coming from Monkeycraft and Bandai Namco, we have We Love Katamari, Reroll, and Royal Reverie. The second title in the Katamari Damacy series has returned in a remastered, powered-up version. This new Reroll comes with improved graphics and gameplay enhancements. In Royal Reverie, roll up Katamari as the king of all cosmos in his boyhood. Obviously, Katamari is a super quirky, zany experience that probably isn't for everyone, but it's got so much quirkiness to it that those that like it seem to really like it. New additional features such as Royal Reverie are also available. In his youth, the king received a strict education from his father, the Great King. New challenges have been added where you can roll around as the king in his boyhood. The days of hard study and intense training can all be rolled through. In 5 all-new challenges will the young king be able to clear all the tough challenges. In addition, a selfie mode has been added, allowing the prince and his cousins to take quick photos while rolling through the stages. A simple but very deep game as well. We Love Katamari, Reroll, and Royal Reverie will be out on June 1st. Next up, a long-awaited title that's been out on PC for a little bit, finally coming to PlayStation 5, we have Gunfire Reborn. Gunfire Reborn is a level-based adventure game featuring FPS, roguelite, and RPG. Players can control heroes with various abilities to experience diverse build gameplay, use various weapons to explore procedurally generated levels with a lot of replayability. Now, this is a game that you can play solo, but probably the best way to experience it would be through cooperative play. The game does support 4-player co-op play, so that's something to take into account as well. Every level is random. Each restart is a brand new experience. You will meet different heroes and experience new weapons, items, checkpoints, and unique combat rhythms throughout the game. FPS, roguelite, and RPG combined gameplay construct diverse build through death cycle for different experiences. Elaborate yet randomized stage experience, over 100 different items and various weapons, many heroes, and multiple game plus with different game mechanisms as well. Gunfire Reborn will finally be hitting PlayStation 5 on June 1st. Next up, we have Loop 8, The Summer of Gods. If you're looking for a more narrative-driven title, this is something you should have on your radar. Coming from Marvelous and Xseed, Loop 8 Summer of Gods notes your choice shaped the world in this coming-of-age RPG as a new arrival in a 1980s rural Japanese town with a mysterious ability to loop time. Your every decision and relationship will affect the outcome of battles against the invading Kagai. Step into the life of Nini, a newly earthbound teen who arrives in the quaint Japanese town of Ashihara in August of 1983. Explore the town, befriend its people, and face off against the enemies in turn-based battles where the outcomes depend on the relationships you've built and the decisions you've made. Use Nini's special connection to the gods to reset the world, with each loop allowing Nini and his allies to relive the 8th month over and over again until they get it right, or until the enemy overcomes them entirely. Loop 8 is scheduled for a release on PlayStation 5 on June 6th. Next up, we have Killer Frequency, a brand new action horror title. Killer Frequency is a first-person horror adventure that puts you in the shoes of Forrest Nash, a late-night radio host whose callers are being stalked by a mysterious killer. Solve puzzles, save lives, and run the switchboards, all while listening to a jukebox of the retro 80s tune. Definitely has a throwback vibe to it. Killer Frequency is scheduled for a release on June 1st. Next up, we have Crash Team Rumble. Crash Team Rumble is not maybe the Crash game a lot of you guys were hoping for if you're more looking for a classic Crash-style game, but it is a 4v4 team-based online multiplayer game set in the vivid and wacky world of Crash Bandicoot. In Team Rumble, players can control characters such as Crash and many of his friends and rivals, each with unique powers, personalities, and playstyle. Compete in diverse areas in 4v4 team-based online multiplayer matches where the objective is is to slide smash, bump, and bash as a team to collect the most Wumpa Fruit in your drop-off zone while defending against the opposing team. Crash Team Rumble is scheduled for release on June 20th. Next up, we have Dordogne. Immerse yourself in a unique narrative experience and explore the 1,000 summer colors of Dordogne as you revisit your childhood to uncover lost family secrets in a touching, formative journey. The game has a tremendous, colorful art style. Just looks fantastic from a visual standpoint. Explore the stunning landscapes of Dordogne in a hand-painted watercolors. Embark on a unique and heartwarming narrative experience. Awaken your senses as you explore childhood memories. Collect photos, sounds, and scents to create your journal unique to your adventure. The game will be priced at $14.99, and it is scheduled for release on June 13th. Next up, another incredibly colorful game. We have Harmony: The Fall of Reverie. The fate of humanity is at stake. Use your gift of clairvoyance to see into the future and stop an apocalypse that threatens the balance between your world and the deities. This is a choice-driven game with a lot of focus on its narrative. As Poly or Harmony, each action you take will affect both worlds and send you down sprawling narrative paths set into the future and explore the consequences of possible choices. In pursuing whatever destiny you desire, you'll also bond and obtain crystals from the aspirations. These will unlock different paths at important crossroads that will change how the thread of the story unravels. Harmony: The Fall of Reverie is scheduled for release on June 8th. Next up, we have Sonic Origins Plus. Sonic Origins Plus is classic Sonic redefined in widescreen HD. Explore 4 classic Sonic remastered titles: Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic 2, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and Sonic CD in high definition with all new opening and ending animations. All in one bundle includes previously released add-on content, new playable characters, classic and anniversary modes, new unlockables, and 12 Sonic Game Gear titles as well, all at the price of $39.99. Sonic Origins Plus is out on June 23rd. Next up, we have Inner Ashes. Inner Ashes is a first-person narrative puzzle adventure where the player puts himself in Henry's shoes, a forest guard diagnosed with early-onset Alzheimer's. He has to travel through his mind to discover why his only daughter disappeared from his life. Another incredibly atmospheric game, noting to be a little bit lighter on the gameplay, but more so a narrative adventure. Inner Ashes is scheduled for release on June 30th. Next up, we have Fall of Porcupine. Fall of Porcupine is a unique story adventure, the collision of work and daily life, an exciting reflection of an unhealthy healthcare system. Experience the exciting story of Finley and his friends in a lovingly illustrated world and uncover the darkest secrets of Porcupine and its residents. New jobs can be tense, especially when you're about to become a doctor. Join Finley on an original narrative adventure as you take your first steps in a new and exciting world. Together, experience the last days of summer before a change of seasons stirs up the sleepy town of Porcupine. A very gorgeous game from a visual standpoint as well. Explore a beautiful, diverse world, get to know exciting characters, demonstrate your skills and empathy, and uncover dark secrets throughout. Fall of Porcupine is scheduled for a release on June 15th. Next up, we have the Greyhill Incident, a brand new first-person horror title. The story-driven survival horror game is about a classic alien invasion, which takes place during the early 90s as Ryan Baker, equipped with a baseball bat and a few bullets in his revolver. The story takes you across the atmospheric neighborhood of Greyhill, which is invaded by UFOs and gray aliens. Greyhill Incident is scheduled for release on June 9th. Next up, we have the latest game in the Alien series. We have Aliens Dark Descent, a pretty interesting one as far as what type of gameplay you like. Drop into the gripping journey of Aliens Dark Descent, a squad-based single-player action game in the iconic Aliens franchise. Lead your soldiers in real time to stop a new and terrifying kind of xenomorph outbreak throughout the game. Customize your squad with a selection of different classes, level up and specialize your soldiers with unique abilities and an arsenal of weapons, armors, and perks for high-stakes missions in treacherous territory. Develop your base to research new tech and improve your squad even further. Manage your resources wisely. Face off in a gripping original alien story against iconic xenomorph creatures. Lead strategically and change squad tactics. Forge unique paths for survival and assemble and level up squads composed of 5 starting Marines. Aliens Dark Descent is scheduled for release on June 20th. Next up, we have Layers of Fear. Now, this is an upgraded release of the original, running on Unreal Engine 5. All stories must come to an end, even twisted and eerie ones. The canvas, the stage, the novel, the narrative-focused psychological horror experience is ready for its final brushstroke, its current call, its final chapter, and this time it's built on Unreal Engine 5. The series' crowning work is the definitive way to experience a critically acclaimed franchise, as it features Layers of Fear and the second game, as well as all DLCs and the never-before-told story of the writer, which will tie everything together. Built on Unreal Engine 5, Layers of Fear supports enhanced visuals to support stunning visuals and your nightmarish experience as immersive and realistic as possible. Layers of Fear, this enhanced release, will be coming to PS5 on June 15th. Next up, we have Nocturnal. If you're a fan of side-scrolling action titles, this one should definitely be on your radar. A good look to this one as well from a visual standpoint. Carve your way with fire and steel to find out what happened to your people in an action platformer. You're the only one who can discover the secrets that lie beyond the mist. As a soldier of the Enduring Flame, you must uncover the mystery of what happened to your order, battling any who stand between you and your goal to free the island from the darkness. A deadly mist, awaken the guardian of the Enduring Flame that sleeps in you, explore the island and its secret places, and there is a speedrun mode included as well. Nocturnal is scheduled for a release on June 7th. Next up, this one has seen a couple delays. Hopefully it's finally out in June. We have Amnesia the Bunker, the latest by Frictional Games' famed horror development studio. Amnesia the Bunker is a first-person horror title set in a desolate World War I bunker. Face the oppressing terrors stalking in the dark corridors. Search for and use the tools and weapons at your disposal while keeping the lights on at all costs. Overcome fear, preserve, and make your way out alive. Now, again, this game has seen a couple delays. I think this last delay is the final one. It's like these small delays that the bunker keeps getting. Obviously, Frictional did a tremendous job with the original Amnesia. Soma was great. The subsequent Amnesia titles have been more of a mixed bag, but the bunker has a semi-open world, and while it won't be a super lengthy game, it will be incredibly replayable, and that's what they're going for, with each experience and each playthrough being a little bit different than your last. Amnesia the Bunker is scheduled for a release on June 6th. And lastly, we have Raiden 3 x Mikado Maniax. Lightning strikes a thrice soar high in Raiden 3 Maniax, an electrifying entry in the classic arcade shoot-'em-up. Customize your music, wallpapers, game mode, and more before launching into high-octane aerial combat. Obviously, this is a game that if you're a fan of shoot-'em-ups, it's going to be right up your alley. Twice the firepower, pilot 2 ships at once in any game mode with double play. Raiden Remix, choose between original and remix background music, complete with individual track selection for each stage, and world-class pilot. Compete against other pilots in the world rankings and watch their replays to see what you're up against. Raiden 3 Maniax is out on June 6th, and that is going to do it for me. These are the games coming in June, kicking off, which is looking to be a pretty heavy second half of the year, so a lot of things to be excited for. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Let us know what games you're the most excited for in June. I'm expecting a lot of Final Fantasy XVI's, Diablo IV, Street Fighters, but a lot to sink your teeth into next month. That'll do it for me. Again, your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.